I'm Tom Moore. I'm a member at Unitarian Universalist Church of Evansville and have been since sometime in the 90s. And I cannot remember exactly when.
And I'm Jennifer Willett. I joined this particular congregation in 2015, but I was a member of the Buffalo, New York congregation prior to that. Well, because we have many different sources that our faith is based on, we don't have a creation story, we have creation stories in multiple, in plural. And science is one of those creation stories.
No, we embrace them all. We think there's truth and wisdom to be learned from them all. And in good faith, we could have a rich dialogue among them so that we can understand and hopefully teach what it means to be a human, what human nature is about, how we can structure communities that make sense and are sustainable and just.
And humans are storytellers. Mm-hmm. And everyone over the globe has many, many different ways of telling stories and from different perspectives, and we respect that.
And I would just add, though, if you look at them carefully, thematically, they're often very similar in terms of those questions about what is our place in the world and how do we live meaningfully. I have had a role in this church. We are a lay-led congregation, which most of us are real happy about. We are a small congregation, and in terms of paying a full-time cleric, we just don't have the means to do it. So we have covenanted to do worship ourselves. My role is I've chaired that committee for some years. We are open to all kinds of participation. If anyone has an idea or around a theme or an activity, that we're open to that. Our hope is that it is always something meaningful, that it gives people something to think about in terms of these big questions about life and meaning and community. When I was in seminary, we used to talk about muddling through, so I feel like many days I'm just muddling through, but hopefully in a good way.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to contribute to the church. Some people do the maintenance of our building and our yards, and sometimes people act in board capacities. My major contribution is actually being on the worship committee. I thrive in creating meaningful services that both challenge us and provide comfort to the congregants. And it's a huge responsibility, but I find it really fulfilling.
I'm going to say there's two. One of our traditions here is that we do take a few minutes each Sunday, whoever's here, to stand up and move around. And I think that's important just because it's fun and joyful in itself, but also to model how to not be isolated, which is a big problem. The other thing that we do here, a tradition, and I think it's a blessing for a small congregation, is that we have time every Sunday for when people can share their story, whatever a joy, sorrow, or concern. And most of the time, that's a richer experience than any sermon we ever get. I think and it just opens up to our shared humanity, and also challenges us in terms of a community about how you hold all that.
And we also have hybrid services since COVID. During COVID, we only had virtual services, and since COVID, now it's hybrid. So if you're on vacation, if you're not feeling well, or if you just want to stay in your pajamas longer that day, you have the opportunity to still participate in services on Sunday. And I think it's really great that we have that opportunity to still stay in community because of the hybrid services. And we have a great team that enables us to do that. And again, it's all lay-led.
We are not a creedal congregation, we are a principled congregation, and I think if we take our principles seriously, it actually leads to, if we're grasping those, that what does that mean in life? And we are a part of the community, and we've always been involved. We brought up Congregations Acting for Community and Empowerment. We've been involved in that from the beginning, and I think most people grasp that principles lead somewhere, and you can't not wake up in the morning and listen to the news without bumping into issues, particularly around class and income. At least from my perspective these days, I think those are real important issues. I also think it rounds out, or it actualizes what we say we understand in terms of being principled people.
Yeah, our principles, it's interesting, we had a service recently on our 7 principles, and the number of people who talked during our open mic session, commenting on it, the number of people who said the 7 principles are the reason why I decided to come here and continue to stay. And the people that are called to those principles, we don't have a service requirement the way some faiths do. The people that are called to those principles, it's not an obligation, it's a call. They want to serve. They want to serve the community. So it's not, I have to do this, I want to do this, and where can I serve in the community? Where can I serve in the world? So it's a great opportunity to join with other people that have similar desire to be useful in the community. There's lots of opportunities. The world is a place where people are hurting, and where can we help? One of the things that I like to talk about is that most faiths unite under a common belief, an orthodoxy, but we combine under those common principles. So we unify not on what we believe, but how we believe. So we unify under that. So I like to say that our 7 principles, the inherent worth and dignity, is something that we try to live. Every person has inherent worth and dignity. And the 7th, I like to say that they're bookends, that we respect the interdependent web of all life, and we are a part of that. We try to live those principles. It doesn't matter to me what you believe or you believe or you believe. How are you putting those beliefs into practice? And the other thing that's really important is that no matter what you believe, we covenant with each other. That's what unites us, both as our congregation and with the Unitarian Universalist Association, which is like our governing body. But we also act independently. That organization doesn't tell us how to organize our church, our congregation. So those are 3, I think, important things that kind of separate us from others, but it also is what unifies us as Unitarian Universalists.
I don't know what people think about us, and I'm not making that up. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. I just hope that we actualize what we say we are about, and let the chips fall where they may. We're not a cult. We are open to a variety of spiritual paths, and I think that's important. That it's not just polity or whatever. That spiritual development is real important. Recognizing that there are many ways to get there. And again, what would enrich us all is if we recognize that and are in dialogue with one another about that. I guess that's how I would say it, that we are who we are without apology, and fine. Well, as a Luddite, I have to say they have to come by the office and pick up our hard literature, but I think we do have a website that's happily is maintained, so people can go to whatever it is.
Well, there's
uuevansville.org or something like that?
Yes. So uuevansville.org is our website for our congregation. But we also have a Facebook page, and then there's also the UUA, which is the Unitarian Universalist Association. So those are like the official. But there's also an organization, and I wrote it down because I always do this up. So the Church of the Larger Fellowship is 100% digital church that you can attend a UU service, and they have members or attendees from all over the world that attend. So if you want to check out a service that's not a local congregation on our digital service, and you can always go to our Facebook page and attend a service, and you don't have to necessarily identify yourself, and just see what it's like in a digital platform, either ours or for that fellowship. So there's lots of ways you can connect, and just check us out.